Hey Josh, how you doing, man?
Hey, good man. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, I'm in Canada, right? So we're pretty good here in terms of locking down. Where are you calling me from
Yeah.
today?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay, so you guys are like part of the smart U.S. Sorry.
Yeah,
I,
it's pretty yeah, it's pretty locked down here, I would say. I will say there's more people outside than I've ever seen, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know. We've never done this before. We've never been through this, so I guess we're all just kind of figuring it out.
I know it's and it's you know I have to like I always try to find silver lining in every cloud, and the
Yeah.
one positive thing is this, I think this is the first time everybody in the world is going through the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I think I try to see the positive in it, and obviously there's a lot of negative, and it's a really scary time and a lot of unknown, and obviously people are getting sick, and that's not something that anybody wants. But yeah, I think you're right. I think within it there is kind of some unity and some, I think attention off of mundane things, or maybe bullying, or uh, things that we can kind of tend to do out of boredom.
Yeah,
And I think this has kind of given us kind of a good perspective on kind of daily life, and how we, maybe think about life and how we treat each other, hopefully. And I feel like I feel like I've seen that, and so I think that's one good thing coming out of this craziness.
yeah. It seems like we've all been forced to kind of push the reset button and rethink what's important. And yeah, I mean that like I mentioned when I try to find something positive because otherwise it just gets really gray and mundane.
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
And you have to have a balance between kind of checking the news and keeping up to date, but then also, like, just kind of pushing pause for a second, and maybe just turning the news off, and just trying to do your best to just, I don't know, live life in your house.
well, I got to tell you, man, when I heard level of concern, it really, really put a smile on my face because this is when I find that the arts are important. This is when musicians and artists and filmmakers and actors and people that are involved in the arts can really uplift people. And I really
Mhm.
I applaud both you guys for doing that with this song because it really put a smile on my face. Tell me a bit about putting this together.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, I think that was kind of the goal. Tyler called me, and said, "Hey, I'm working on kind of an idea for a song that has to do with kind of this time period," which, um, I think that all of our music really is essentially time specific, but I think kind of can, like, span across time, and
Mm.
can kind of make sense years later. Hopefully, it's not really been our intention to kind of, like, box ourselves in, like, a certain year or time or date. But this one just kind of seemed like it felt a little bit needed, and also I do think that this is going to be something that is in, like, our kids' history books.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah.
is a pretty big deal. So I think it kind of made sense to kind of create something that had to do with this time period, and ultimately, what he kind of said to me, I think that stuck with me, that I liked a lot, was conversation that Tyler was having with his mom, and she was like, "I just kind of need something a little bit happier to listen to, something exciting, and something that can be a distraction." And I think that's the cool thing about music in general. Whatever the style, or kind of, like, feel of the music, I think that there can sometimes be healthy distractions, and sometimes music can be a distraction. Sometimes it can kind of force you to think even more. In this scenario, I think it was meant, as we're all kind of stuck home alone, and some of us are thinking deeper than others about what could happen, or the outcome of this whole scenario. It can be something that's just a little bit more fun, and a little uplifting, and it's a fun song.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean,
To play. And,
you guys really succeeded at the same, addressing what's going on, but at the same time, making it light enough that everyone can kind of hum along. And like I mentioned, it just put a smile on my face, and I listened to it probably 3 times in a row. Not to mention it's catchy as hell.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely a little experiment too, with kind of full quarantine, and and truly sending files back and forth.
Yeah.
And kind of recording each part in our own studios and putting it together remotely, and that was kind of a fun challenge. I think we've always worked a bit separately, but this was kind of for sure the most separate that we've ever put something together.
And great job with the video too. I mean, I think the video captures the vibe of it as well. That must have been a fun thing to put together too.
It was really fun. Yeah, thanks. It was, yeah, I think that putting together music videos or creating the idea, a lot of times in the past, well, when we first started, we obviously we did everything ourselves, and then things got a little bit bigger, and people were like, "Oh, you should have this director or this set of people," and then you got set deck, and you got everybody kind of doing their own jobs and making this thing look or feel really cool. And in this video, we were forced to kind of go back to the very most DIY that you can possibly be, which is kind of how we started off. And it was kind of trying to recapture, in a way, some of how we used to do things. And I think, in those shots of Tyler and Jenna kind of setting up the studio there, and me and Debbie setting up the studio here.
Yeah, yeah.
And also the turning the light switch on and off. We actually played shows like that, where we would have our buddy. We had kind of a T-bar of work lights, and our buddy would just literally flip a switch on a couple power strips, and that was our production.
Ghetto strobe lights.
Totally, yeah. I mean, that's how we did it, and so to kind of recreate where it's just all right, well, how do we kind of up the production a little bit in sort of a home video, and then capture the kind of the essence of that was definitely really fun to put together.
Well, Josh, I know we don't have too much time with you. I just wanted to ask you quickly if you could just address Crew Nation and one of the reasons why you're donating a portion of the proceeds to Crew Nation. Tell everybody what that's all about.
Yeah, Crew Nation is it's kind of an organization that's really created out of the necessity for jobs. I think that's for some people more than anything in our I was about to say our country, but really in our world, it's this idea of how are we all going to survive through this kind of financially, and looking at jobs. And I think for me and Tyler, I think the biggest part of our lives is touring, and over the years our crew has gotten bigger and bigger, and I think about those guys all the time, and a lot of times when Tyler and I are kind of off the road, we're working on music or we're writing or recording, but those guys, a lot of them go and they take other gigs, and they're kind of just on the road all the time, and sort of sacrificing time at home with family, and now with I mean, concerts is it's probably going to be one of the last things to kind of come back from this, and so thinking about those guys, this was something that we really wanted to partner up, with Crew Nation to try and make sure that they're not totally out of luck, and so it's something that we really wanted to get behind to try and help their cause, and help them to continue moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's really admirable on your guys' part. So kudos for doing that. And I just want to let people know also there's some T-shirts available on your website that will benefit your crew guys too. So thanks for doing that, man. That shows that you guys care, and I'm sure they appreciate it as well.
Yeah, totally, man. Thank you.
Josh, thanks for taking the time, man. Stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, and we look forward to seeing you live again.